Stop right now. Click your phone so you can hear me. Slide racking for the elderly, gun apps galore, and a message about missing limbs, lawnmowers, and the 2A community. All on this week's TGC News. If you absolutely must reload every spent case you see, then check out AmmoBot, offering one of the most simple and cost-effective ways to automate your Dillon 1050 with no need to worry about complex setup or operation. Capable of running at over 2,000 rounds per hour, this thing will allow your reloading hobby to get serious. To learn more, click the link in the description to head over to ammobot.us. Welcome back. My name is John Patton, and hold on to your butts because this is going to be awesome. My friends at FICG are putting on an event that I'm calling Knob Creek in the North. Knob Creek in the North! Knob Creek in the North! Essentially, there will be tons of machine guns, suppressors, gun manufacturers, suppressor manufacturers, all on hand, and it's going to be incredible. There's also going to be a tank. Yeah, that's going to be fun. You can, of course, come hang out with me. I'd love to meet you guys. Also, Whitey from 4Guys Guns is going to be there, Jake from Firearms Radio Network, Matt from Downrange Firearms Training, and a ton more awesome people. And if you sign up now to go to this thing, it's going to be in Pennsylvania. Registration is only $25 for 2 days, whereas if you wait until you get there, it's $40 per day. That's 80 versus 25. It's a win. Pre-register. There's a link down in the description to get to stonemachinegun.com to sign up. I'll see you guys there. Now, this week's first story is about racking a gun. One of the simplest things to do on a semi-auto handgun is racking the slide. Yet somehow I'm seeing an emerging niche market for products that supposedly make this easier for people with weak hands or disabilities. Something I don't really have knowledge on. The first one I ever saw was called the Handy Racker, and I honestly thought the thing was a joke. It's essentially a wedge that fits over the top of the slide and allows you to push against the gun with your weight and put more into it. It's a fairly simple concept and fairly simple execution. And just the other night, Nine-Minded on Instagram sent me this contraption called the P3 Racker. Looks more like something out of a torture dungeon than a tool for guns, but I digress. The concept with a P3 is that you squeeze the mechanism, you kind of squeeze it with your hand, which then in turn clamps the rubber feet onto the gun and you pull rearward on the slide. Again, fairly simple execution on a fairly simple idea. But there's a problem, and stay with me here. Would it not be a reasonable assumption that if you do not possess the strength to properly rack a slide, then would you also not possess the strength to control that firearm? Another huge thing that I think a lot of people get wrong is the methodology that they use to actually do it. I used to tell people all the time when I sold guns to hold the gun in their strong hand and then grasp the slide with their other support hand and push together. The human body is far stronger like this than by holding the gun out and pulling rearward and pinching the slide, but for whatever reason, people don't naturally do this. So now the question comes to mind, because I am able-bodied, do these things really have a market, or are they just trying to create one and give people a crutch when the problems can typically be solved by using proper technique? I want to know what you guys think about these racking devices down in the comments. And in more rats fleeing a sinking ship news, gun-specific social media sites are popping up everywhere. With Facebook not wanting to deal with guns lately, some companies are claiming to have the next best thing. We'll see about that. First, we saw GunDistrict.com, which upon inspection yesterday still looks and feels as boring as when it started. Very amateur. Then we saw a huge rush to MeWe.com, which, when I talked about it last, was the place that people seem to be flocking to. But after only a few days attempting to use that site myself, I realized what a complete and utter mess it is. There is no rhyme or reason to how that site works. Now I'm starting to see kind of a second wave of sites and apps, including UnitedGunGroup.com, which claims to be the best all-around gun community, including some sales and things like that, but that's very young still. Then we have apps like the Shooting Club, which I know very little about, and then Gun Squad, which is essentially Instagram specifically for guns. Everyone I've talked to at these various companies seemed like good people. They seemed genuine and like they want to help and they want to do good things. But let me tell you why they're all flat out wrong. These sites and apps are way too specific. The very thing that makes them unique is the biggest chink in their armor. The reason that forums are not nearly as strong as they used to be is because Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat have soaked up a lot of the attention that those were getting. Why? Because they're all inclusive. You can talk about every little bit of your life on those sites, including guns. You're not limited to talking about very specific things, and that's why those sites do so well. And that is also why I think these gun-specific sites will struggle to take off. You know, I'm not saying that they're not going to work and that nobody will use them. That's not the case at all. I think a few of these are actually pretty cool, but will they grow to be a substantial force? I'm not so sure. You can actually go follow me right now on Gun Squad, or you can find me on UnitedGunGroup.com. I'm on both of those sites because I want to be where you guys are. But the fact of the matter is, I'm going to be really surprised if these take off in grand scale. And now for something completely different. You've probably seen a story floating around about some moron shooting binary explosives in a lawnmower at close range and losing his leg. It's sad to see that people like that are still in the gene pool. Well, about that story, my good friend Whitey from Four Guys Guns actually posted a message to the community about that, and it's just, here, watch.
Headline today was, YouTuber blows leg off with tannerite. Here's the problem with this. YouTuber has now been assigned to this guy. He could have 3 followers. He could have 3 million followers. But the fact that he is now a YouTuber now discredits anything anyone is trying to do to benefit the 2A community. Plain and simple. And now he's lost a leg. Stop doing stupid things that ruin it not just for everyone, but the community. People need to start realizing that we are no longer this tiny little niche thing. The gun community has grown past crusty old white dudes and is now full of women, new shooters, ethnicities that were never, doing this before. Legally, constitutionally, in their rights to do so, and now stuff like this makes us all look bad. Now, if it was business as usual, this would be swept under the rug and we would never see more than it. But thanks to the digital age, and things like Facebook, Instagram, social media, what happens now is that one friend shares a link, 2 friends share a link, and now the entire community looks bad. Plain and simple, because you decided to shoot 3 pounds of tannerite in a lawnmower inside of 100 feet, let alone 100 meters, which is the recommended distance per pound. Just a thought. Maybe stop doing stupid stuff. Think before you pull a trigger, because you are accountable for that bullet, that trigger pull, where it goes, who it damages, anything like that at all. Use your head. You're not just having a good time and representing people anymore. We are under a tighter microscope than we've ever been. Plain and simple. Stop doing stupid stuff.
I could not have said that better myself, which is exactly why I'm sharing it with you guys. Huge thanks to Whitey for letting me show that right here on TGC News. Be sure to stick around until after the break for this week's Friendly Fire. Bring your EDC game to a new level with KeyBar, offered in tons of different finishes from aluminum to titanium to carbon fiber and tons of other fancy options. You can stack these with things like a titanium comb or a USB flash drive. The only limitation is your mind. Use the code TGC10 to get 10% off your entire order at keybar.us. This week's Friendly Fire question is from Sean Morecom on Snapchat, and he asks, what is your unicorn gun? One that you've always wanted but just couldn't get your hands on. This is an easy one. The Mark 19. It's a full auto freaking grenade launcher. I'm 99% sure that it's not legal to own or purchase, but even if you could get one, a transferable one, the ammo would cost insane amounts because actual high explosive grenades are individually stamped per NFA rules. That's right, one high explosive grenade costs you $200 tax stamp plus the actual cost of the item. Good Lord. But good God, I want to shoot one. Just yes. My friendly fire question to you guys this week: do you clean your guns every single time that you shoot them? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want your question answered right here on the show, you can post that on facebook.com/theguncollective. You can send it to me on Snapchat or post it on Instagram. And be sure to tag The Gun Collective. Unfortunately, that is it for this week's show. Guys, you know what to do. If you enjoyed the episode, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and of course, if you didn't like the episode, let me know down in the comments so we can talk about it. Do not forget to subscribe. You won't want to miss a single week of the show because it's always that good. And as always, guys, thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon. The shirts worn in today's episode of TGC News were provided by Patriot Patch Company. Click the link in the description to learn more.